So let me go ahead and explain what you see here. You'll see, for the most part, a bunch of flowers, some circles, which you'll see as purple. Purple is the circles. Pink or fuchsia, actually, fuchsia rectangle or squares, fuchsia squares, and then a bunch of different colored lines going around those shapes. So some of those lines are complete circles. Some of those lines are arches. Some of them are just straight lines going around the shapes. And I'll show you guys how to put those in, but we're going to be starting off with the flowers first, and then the circles, and then the squares. And I highly encourage you all to use the colors that make you happy. Whatever you have on hand, use those. For the flowers, I'm going to be using two colors. I've got that fuchsia color and I have a lighter pink there. Use what you've got though. Let's see, same thing for the circles and the squares. Feel free to customize it in any way, shape, or form that you see fit. I want you guys to walk away from this piece proud of what you've done, proud of being able to dissect something that looks more complicated than it actually is. So again, be creative with it, do what you want with it, and I'm here with you every step of the way. So if you ever have any questions, just in general, or questions about your piece specifically, please feel free to ask me. You can interrupt me. I'm totally fine with that. Sometimes I go off on a tangent and I just keep on talking. That's okay. You can interrupt me. Another good way to get my attention is to also type your question or any comments in the chat box as well. You also have that. I know some people like to raise their hands too. I don't always see those as easily as I would the chat box. So just keep that in mind. But you're also more than welcome to raise your hand too. So far, do we have any questions? Anybody? All right, cool. Let's do this. Okay, so you know what, I'll show you this later. I did a little something extra, which you'll see in this frame right here. I don't want to show too much, but I did a little something extra using the same technique and same idea, which I'll show you later what I did with it. But let's start off simple. I'm going to move this so that you guys can see my screen a little bit better. And I'm going to, let me see. I will periodically put this picture back up. I unfortunately don't have the original picture with me at the moment. So every once in a while, I'll put this screen back up. That way you can see what I'm doing. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight my picture. That way you guys can see it. I always forget how to spotlight myself. I've been using Zoom for a long time now, and unfortunately, MS Brain kicks in at the most convenient times. There we go. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, MS Brain. let's undo that.
There you go. Yay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. We're good. All right, let's do this. So we're going to start off with the flowers. And I want to start off with the flowers because in my opinion, those are the most important parts. In that picture, I had two colored flowers. You are more than welcome to choose anything, any colors you want for your flowers, even if it doesn't really make sense. You can even do two different colored flowers, like two sets of flowers if you'd like, or a set of 2 flowers if you'd like. Whatever you would like. So let's see, what colors do I want? Maybe I'll keep it simple. Maybe I'll do a light purple and a dark purple. So that'll be me. That'll be my simple color choice. Now, not everybody has the same set of 20 colors that I have. So if you would like some guidance as to which colors to choose, please feel free to ask me. And very first thing I'm going to do is start with my light color. And I'm going to want to just sort of take my finger and draw an imaginary circle. It's going to be small. We don't want our flowers to be too big. Just draw an imaginary circle. Or if it helps you to sort of visualize it with your writing utensil, you can do that as well. Imaginary flower. And then imagine that you're coloring in a circle. Now, for some people, when they imagine coloring a circle, it might look a little more like a square, and that's okay, because we will give some shape to our little centerpiece right here. We'll give it some shape. That's going to be one flower. And then when we're done shading it in, we're going to go over it with our darker color and give it some petal shapes. So I recommend doing maybe 3, maybe 4 flowers. I think that might be okay to start off with. 3 or 4 flowers. I'm gonna sort of trace with my finger. Maybe I'll have another one here. And you'll notice that I sort of placed these flowers in completely different spots from where I had them originally. Maybe I'll put one here. That's because I never really like to do the same thing twice, personally. Because when I try to do the same thing twice, it just doesn't work out. Never ends up looking the same, never ends up looking like it was made with the same enthusiasm, if that makes sense. So I know I said 3, and you'll find that I often do this. I will say one thing and then do another thing on my picture. I think I want to add a 4th one in there, so I will do that. Please feel free to do anything you'd like. If you feel compelled to add another one, then please add another one. And you'll also notice that what I did here on my paper, I tried to imagine a circle here and coloring inside a circle, but the actual coloring part doesn't really look like a circle. That's okay. We're going to give it some shape with our other color in a second. If you want to do bigger flowers, or keep them all small, you can certainly do that too. So next step now is to take your darker color. For me, that's going to be purple. And we're going to start in the center. So the center of my flower, just put it right here. I'm going to draw a teeny tiny little spiral. That spiral is supposed to represent the center of my flower. Perhaps it's a rose with all of its petals that just sort of bunch up together really tightly, really close together. It's just supposed to be a very abstract representation of that. It's a very abstract rose. It's just a teensy tiny spiral. Do that in each. And then our petals. Our petals will all start off from the middle here. So they're going to get just a little bit bigger as I move outward. And if you'd rather watch me do this first, you can certainly do that too. You can watch me make a small petal, and another one, and another one. I'm not going to count how many I can squeeze in together. And they are going to have plenty of space in between. So when I do the next row, this petal is going to try to make it to this end, but it's not going to completely make it to the end. And it is pretty nice to have some space in between. Same thing with that one. Tried to make it to the end, didn't make it, and that's okay. Just keep on making those scallops. You'll notice that naturally your petals are just going to get bigger. It's a little easier to tell now that I'm making those bigger petals. Like that. And they tend to look a little bit nicer once you can go faster. Once you feel confident enough to go a little bit faster, they tend to look a little nicer. Now you'll notice that I ended up making my panel just a little bit bigger than what I intended, and that's okay. I was in the zone. It's fine. It is absolutely okay. And I do like to tell people that art sometimes just happens, and you just gotta do what your hand is gonna do. Sometimes your hand has other plans. Sometimes your vision has other plans. It may not always meet, but it's okay because you just keep on making more art. And there's another one. So do that to each and every one of your flowers. And if you decide that you'd like to add more petals, then you can certainly do that too. Well, I mean, not more petals, more flowers. You can do that too. We will be filling in our space with those circles and those not rectangles. I keep wanting to say rectangles and it's driving me crazy. Those squares. But if you want to add rectangles, you can. Like I'll probably add another flower that's a little bit bigger. If you want to add a different color flower, you can do that too. And I'll give you some time to do that as well. And if you want to make your petals a little bit uneven, like that, for me, it just made more sense to add another petal there to make it a little more even. I don't think flowers or really anything floral in general, I don't think it really has the same amount of anything. Maybe it just depends on the flower. Don't really know. So I will add maybe a larger flower on this side. And it is okay if you happen to decide to make another flower. It's okay if you have to pick up your marker again to reach the ends here, or even make it even. You could even fill in this excess space if you want to. Like I'm going back and filling in some of this petal space here just to make it a little bit more even. So you can certainly do that too. Is there any questions so far? All right, concentration mode. I always say this, but if you would like to put some music on in the background and listen on your own, you're more than welcome to do that too. I always put on music whenever I'm listening, or put on music whenever I'm creating something. So same thing here. I'm going to make a little spiral, tiny little one, and then make my petals. And if you happen to lose track of how many petals you put in there, that's okay too. Has anyone ever heard of Fiesta? I mean, living in San Antonio my whole life, I've always, when I was little, I always just assumed everybody knew what Fiesta is. So obviously that's not the case. Now, the next parts of our picture might go a little quickly, but it might not. I don't really know. It just depends on you guys. So the next elements that I'll put in there will be circles and the squares. Got it right this time. We can choose different colors for that. So for me, I don't know what color I want. What color do I want? I always choose teal, and I'm so surprised I haven't run out of this color yet. Maybe I'll do teal and orange, maybe. So one of them is going to be my square, and the other one's going to be my circle. And these are really just motifs. It's just, you know, decoration. Next thing is to add these circles or squares anywhere you would like. So the idea is to add these two shapes, color them in as you will, as you like. Now, you'll probably see me just sort of jump back and forth. I've chosen orange as my square and teal as my circle. It does help to keep these elements relatively the same size. That way, everything just sort of looks a little more even. So that does help. And then I'll just explain to you that the rest of this filler, whatever does not have these elements, I'm just going to call them filler. And they're just going to be lines, lines and arches. That's all. They're supposed to create motion and supposed to just bounce off of anything that you already have in the picture. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Maybe I'll make one down here. Maybe in a little bit, I will ask if anyone wants to share their work. That would be amazing. Did anyone, I know I already asked the question. I already asked if anyone did anything creative today, but has anything, I don't know, what's something that's good that's happened this week for you guys? Anyone get some good news? Have an accomplishment? For me, what did I do? What did I even do this week? I don't always remember. Oh yes, yesterday I knocked through emails pretty quickly. It was pretty. I know I don't usually work on Sundays, but I was like these emails need to go. I need to do something. So I knocked out some emails pretty quickly. So I was pretty proud of myself yesterday. That was one good thing.
Hannah, signing up for your class has been an accomplishment for me because I used to do artwork years ago, but I haven't been able to. I just hadn't had the passion for it. So this is the first piece of art I've done in maybe 7 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I'm
Tony,
really
is that
happy about
is that
this.
correct?
Yeah,
Wow, so happy to have you here.
yeah, I'm
That is
glad.
fantastic news.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll get you back in the game.
Yes, yes, I hope so.
Yeah, so good to meet you, Tony.
Nice to meet you as well.
See, there's an accomplishment. I love it. Anyone else like to share? If you're ready, we could actually move on to the next part. Cool. I don't know if you guys can hear. You probably can't, but my doggy is barking like crazy in the background. It's driving me crazy. It's because the whole family's outside and they left him inside. That's why. Okay, so you'll notice in the other picture, let me go ahead and bring it up again. Okay, all right, so you see all of this stuff happening. I like to call this filler. So it's all of the teal lines that you see and all of the yellow lines that you see as well. So what I did was I started with one color that was teal. I chose teal as my first color. And I went on the outside of each of my elements and sort of outlined, but not really. Like I didn't really complete any of my lines. Can you guys see my cursor? I don't know if you can. You can. I don't know if you can see.
Kinda.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Actually, you know what? I can annotate. Actually, I forget that. I can draw things on here. Might be easier if I do that. Okay, good. Now I'll see that. Okay, so here's what I did. I took my first color and I started making these lines that never actually connect all around my pieces one at a time. And then I jumped ship and I moved on to the next. Well, actually, you don't do this one out there. It's really, I did this one closest to whatever is closest to the element. I did all those first, and I intentionally kept some space in between. So I think, if I remember correctly, I started off with my circles and with my squares and did all of those first, all in one color, all the way around every single circle or square. And then I jumped to the flowers afterwards. Did a few lines here and there, and it's going to get messy. It's going to get very abstract. But what you do is you start at the closest section, the closest one, you work your way out from there. So you keep jumping from element to element. And then that's when you take your second color and you basically do the same thing. And honestly, there wasn't really too much of a structure when it came to the second one. It was really just teeter-tottering off of what was already there. So if you keep that in mind, teeter-totter off of what you already have there, and then fill in the space with these lines. You can't go wrong if you just sort of think about what you already have there and add to it. So let me go ahead and stop my sharing. There we have it. Okay. So if you'd like to watch me first, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. You're teeter-tottering off of what is already there. So maybe I'll keep it simple. This last one is also the last color for the picture you just saw. So maybe I'll do this one as my first color. So we'll start off with the easy things, the things that are perhaps way out here. Maybe that's the most easy. And first I make some broken lines pretty close to the element. Maybe I can make another one. Maybe I can make an L shape here and there. I can make it even or not. Jump ship, jump to the next one. Make a few lines there. Broken lines, not broken lines. Like that. See how I made an L shape there and there was already a line there? That's okay. I'm just filling things in. You are going to get faster at this, and that's the idea. We want to have confident lines. And the way you get confident lines is if you go quickly. And you'll get the hang of it the more you do it. See that? I made a broken line out here. And if you want, you can just stick to one section and create everything just around this section. Or you can perhaps do just the squares first or just the circles first, whatever makes sense to you. And you can kind of see that these lines that I'm making outside of my circle, they look a lot more like the petals than they do broken circles. So that's okay. Because remember, the idea was to go quickly with these. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but what I did here was I started out the way I'd been starting out with making the lines, but then I noticed that I have a flower in the way. So my line just came right out of the flower. Like that, like that. And I can just leave it as is. It's always pretty tough to create these kinds of broken partial circles, if that's what you want to call them, around the full circles. I always have trouble with it. But again, the idea is just to create motion and keep going with it. And you can see there, I added a few extra lines in between because I just kind of on the fly felt like that's what I needed to do. So again, start off with your elements, add that filler around the elements, and then we'll get to the flowers. I feel like that's probably the easiest part. Is there any questions so far? Cool. Yeah, this kind of project just sort of forces you to live with your lines, because you can't really fix it, and it's not supposed to be perfect. That's the point. The point is just to go with it and create that motion, because it's that motion that we're after, not after perfection. And you'll sort of notice yourself sticking to patterns. Like one of my patterns, for example, is to create the same types of lines like this outside of my square. That's just something that I do, and that is totally okay. Although it's pretty nice to break away from patterns sometimes. So you can certainly practice that if you want to. Yeah, I really wish I was better at making curvier lines. Oh well, just gonna go with it. I think I use this phrase a lot. There is power in numbers. I use that phrase a lot. There's power in numbers with every single mark that you're making. Sort of adds to the whole. So after you create all those filler lines outside of your elements, the next part is to go and take a look at your flowers. And you're basically going to do the same thing with the flowers, except you're going to build off of what's already there. I'm going to go around, have that. I'm going to stop wherever I see these elements or the lines around the elements, like right there. And I don't have to make an even amount of swipes around every flower. Like I can just leave it at one right there. Or I can double up if I want to, like that. So you'll start to notice that with every mark you make, you get a little bit closer to that goal of filling up the space. So for me, I don't want to fill up the entire page from edge to edge. I just kind of want to stick to this area for the most part, just because that's what I have in my head. But if you want to fill up the whole area edge to edge, you can certainly do that. And you can always add on to it later too. After this class, for example, if you want to do some more, you can certainly do that. I'll give you guys another few minutes. Keep making those lines. But I do like projects like this in which you're forced to stick with the reality that you put that mark down there and you've got to keep it and you have to keep on going. Can't fix it, just have to keep going. And you got that power in numbers. You have so many other marks that nobody's going to notice that one mark that you didn't really like in the first place. It's just one mark. Now looking at it, at least for mine, looking at it from afar, kind of makes me want to add a few more. Especially around the flowers. I'll add a little bit more. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. In fact, I think I'm actually going to add a little bit more. So I just want to show you how this is done. If you want to add another element, you can always do so after the fact. So I can add this guy down here. Perhaps another one up here. There's plenty of space there. And oops, perhaps I accidentally put another one a little too close there. Let's see what we can do with that. Maybe another one over here. Very close to another element. For the ones that are really close, what you can do is pick one and start creating your filler lines around that one. And then once you've put a good amount on there, that's kind of a lot, but once you've put a pretty good amount around there, you can kind of teeter-totter off of what you already have. See how my lines just stop at the other one? Same thing with this one. And I've still got plenty of space to add my other color. So I'll give you guys another 2 minutes or so. And then I'll show you the picture again. And then we'll go from there. for anyone wondering, you can always go back. If you've missed a class, if there's a certain class that you wanted to attend, but maybe couldn't attend, we record all of our sessions, just so you know. And I'll have to find the link. So if y'all give me just a minute, I have to find it. You'd think that I would have some of these YouTube channels saved on my computer or in my subscriptions, but I don't. Can't find these classes, but I'll get them to you. That's okay. Let me show you the original picture now. There we go. All right, so you guys can sort of see now what I've done with the new ones, the yellow lines there. I've teeter-tottered what was already there. So I had already put the teal in there. And so the rest of the yellow, that's all just filler. So I started off, once again, like I did before, started off with choosing either the square or the circle and going around there first just to see what I can fill in. And I think in this particular case, I actually started down here. Let me get my handy annotate tool again. Here it is. I actually started in this area down here. So I already had this stuff going on. So I just sort of created these lines going around. And then I just flowed to the next section. I don't think I really jumped in this case. I just flowed over here around this section. I jumped over here, flowed down here, flow down here. And that's how you get some of these areas that look like they belong together like this. And that's just because I just went from one section to the next. So if you'd like to employ that idea, you certainly can. And if you'd like to jump around, you can certainly do that too. Just teeter-totter off of whatever you already have on your page. All right, so let me go ahead and do mine. Let's start up here because I'm pretty sure I started somewhere around here first time around. And we can put in some filler, make some bigger lines, flow on to the next section like that. I notice here that I probably need some lines in here. Just sort of noticing that. Now I notice that I need to go back on track. And at this point, I'm just sort of telling you what's going through my head. So I'm just noticing that I need to jump around here. Notice that I need to fill in some of the space. Notice that I can't really move on over here until I get this area down here. So of course yours is going to be different. Your flow, I guess, is going to be a little bit different. But basically employing the same idea of just adding those lines and adding those round lines. And if by the end of it you feel like you need even more lines, then I do recommend you sit back and sort of look at your picture from afar. That's going to help you to determine your next step. It always helps when we can take in a deep breath and take a look at what we've already done. Like right now, I could stop right now and take a look at what we have already. I'm honestly like, I can see myself just sort of making my way down here, around here. That's probably how it'll turn out. Then just sort of somewhere around here. I don't really know just yet. All the way back up here. So it's completely up to you. But again, just take that deep breath. Soak in what you've already accomplished before you move on to the next section, if that's what you need. Perhaps I'll put a line here and there that's a little closer, but nothing is ever going to be even. I might actually ask, I know you guys are working, but if anyone wants to share what they have so far, I would love to see. If not, that's okay. Could wait till later. Oh, yay, Kiki would like to share. I'm going to spotlight you. Oh, look at you. Wow, you chose green. I love that green too. Wow, those flowers. That is so pretty. Now, maybe it's the lighting, but is that blue that you used? Oh, you disappeared. You disappeared. There you are.
I used my grandson's, that's all the colors I had. It's blue and it's like a purpley blue, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I see it now.
But they were fat. I had a problem controlling the point.
Oh, is that because they were bigger?
My handshakes too, but this is great. I love this. I mean, just, can you find how to get the old videos?
Oh yeah, I am gonna do that.
Go over those.
Of
this
course.
Is my first time, so.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you, Kiki. Before I look for the videos, would anyone else like to share? Don't be shy. Oh yay, Susie! I'm gonna add you. There you are. Oh, I love it, Susie. Look at your colors.
The yellow's not showing up too well.
Yeah, my yellow didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and the light.
So.
It looks good though. Now what is the color you use for the green flowers? I can't tell what that is.
Oh, it's like I started out orange, but then I finished red because it wouldn't do, so there's red on top. So
okay. I love it though.
Yeah. So yeah, and I have yellow around, but you can't really see the yellow, I guess.
I can see the yellow.
Oh, okay.
Super cool. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Now let's see. I see Tony up here. I'm gonna add you, Tony. There you are. Oh, look that is vibrant. I see every single line.
I've never used these markers. I've had them for over 10 years.
Wow. So and they still work. Yeah. I am amazed at how well they work.
This is pretty cool. I enjoy this.
Wow. It looks beautiful, Tony.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very
I got one.
cool. Thank you. Oh yeah, Judy. I'm gonna add you
I
now.
don't know if you can see that.
Ooh, you actually went edge
Yeah.
to edge. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
yeah.
tried to get the page. No, I
Mhm.
used 2 different color flowers, and I love the highlighters. I don't know
I
whether it's
was gonna
I don't know,
ask.
I don't know whether the yellow's the highlighter and the light pink is the highlighter and the light green, but I think it's the tip of the highlighters that I like because it gives you more of a flow, you know.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, my markers have like a smaller point to them, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
They don't get the flow.
Yeah. No, I love it though. I'm really loving the
Not sure what I
green
like
too.
the colors.
I like it.
It looks brighter in it looks brighter here than it does on the screen there.
It's so cool though. Thank you. Let me remove your spotlight. There we go. Now you guys can totally keep working. I know you guys finished way faster than I did. It's pretty amazing. And I see Tammy's actually just joining us. Cool. So we'll let her get situated. Yeah, you guys went faster than me. I'm going to look for those videos for you guys because I do want to be able to post it. You'd think that I'd have it saved by now, but I don't.
And I was going to mention for an added bonus with mine, you could sniff it. I used scratch and sniff markers.
Oh yeah, you showed us those last time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I love these things. brings out the kid in me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember those in school.
Yeah, and I'm like sitting there all
sniffing your markers as you.
I know, sniffing the markers.
Oh, that's great. Let me see. I promise you I will find that link. Don't mind me. Tammy, did you just join us? She's situated. Uh-oh, Tammy, we can't really hear you very well.
That's because my computer's in an odd angle. Anyway, I had other things going on, but I wanted to just jump in and see what everybody's done.
Oh yeah. Let me see. Does anyone wanna show their picture up so she can see? Yeah, it's another one of those pieces that looks a little more complicated than it really is. I'll spotlight Tony so you can see. Ta-da! Isn't it awesome? Like,
yeah, that's nice.
I'm
really
loving
nice.
those lines. Like the lines and the colors are beautiful.
So I'll be able to go back on and watch how you did this, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes, it is recorded. And in fact, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find the YouTube links because I know that they're there. I know that Casey, she's shown us she's put the link up here before, but for whatever reason, I can't find it. So I know they're there. I know they're recorded. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, we'll, if not, then I can see if, oh, here we go. I finally found it. Okay, yay. So if you were to, let me just give you the link actually. I'm going to give you the link to the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation YouTube page. So it's just the overall YouTube page. And if you go to the videos tab, it just says videos. Because I don't think these classes are organized. So you just have to go to videos and you'll see them there if you scroll down. So here is, there we go. youtube.com/multiple sclerosis foundation. So there you have it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. In fact, I may as well just post the link to last week's class in case you missed that. Because last week, what did we do? I don't remember what we did.
Is it the watercolor tree? Is that the one we did?
Yes. Thank you for jogging my memory.
I just flipped the page. That's why I was like, I think that's what we did. Yeah.
And I don't see the watercolor tree up on there, but I'm sure she'll add it later. Here's another one to a mandala doodle. So that one was a lot of fun. And in fact, I would actually love to bring this class back. Maybe, make it different, of course, but I'd love to bring this particular one back because it was just so fun. And I know a lot of people loved that class. So I will be bringing a version of it back. It was the Easy Mandala Doodle.
Well, it'd be good if they could just put all of the lessons under something like art or crafts or drawing or something, so that because there's nothing in that title that says anything about watercolors, so there's no way I would know to go to that, right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I have a feeling that they'll do that eventually. Casey or whoever runs the website, I'll be sure to let them know about that suggestion, because I do think it's a great idea too. I know that they have a playlist for yoga too, so I don't see why they couldn't make an art playlist for everyone to access.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll put that as a suggestion from you for sure. I want to show you guys what I turned. So I made another version of this project, and it's smaller, and I just wanted to show it to you. Ta-da! I put it. I cut out little sections of it, and I put it in a floating frame. So I just happened to have this floating frame because I think I used it for something else, some other art project, and I was just like, I don't want to keep this in my sketchbooks. I didn't want to keep it in my sketchbook, so I just thought I would put it in here. And it's just a little eye catcher, and I just keep it around my desk. So just an idea. So you can certainly make something that's much smaller, or even just cut out a small portion of this. I would use an X-Acto knife. That's what I use, but of course I know X-Acto knives can be really dangerous, so please just be careful with that. But that's what I use to cut everything out here. So it's just kind of cool because you can see through it. So that's what I wanted to show you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not allowed to play with the X-Acto knives anymore.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous sometimes, so please be careful. Does somebody else do those for you? Maybe put someone else to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I gotta be careful with those. Well, does anyone else want to show us their work? If not, that's okay. Cool. So I will actually show you guys what next week's class is going to be. If you give me just a second. Here we go. Okay, so I call it Crayon Wave, and it's actually inspired by a famous print. People think of it as a painting, but it's not a painting. It's a print. Woodblock print, actually, from Japan. Let me share my screen. It's a much easier version of that woodblock print, made with crayons. Can y'all see that?
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Yay. It's a lot more simple than you think. I promise. What I did was I started off with 2 different kinds of blues for the wave, and I'll show you actually how to create that. Just a little snippet here. I started off with a curvy line that goes like that, and then everything else came after that. So I'll show you guys.
Is it crayon or is it color pencil or?
It's crayon, but you can
crayon.
use color pencil. You can use marker with it. So whatever you have is good. And then personally, I feel like I could do a little bit better with the background up here. So I'll probably change up my background a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I did a lot of sunset colors, and I wanted to make it very abstract. So you can add whatever sort of colors you'd like, you know, twilight colors, daytime colors. So it's up to you. You just need some crayons. That's it. Now let me stop my share. All right. I think you guys did a fantastic job. I absolutely loved seeing everybody's work. I hope you guys enjoyed the class today. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys did awesome. You're welcome.
It was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Good. You're welcome. If anybody has any suggestions as to the types of projects you'd like to see in the future, or I don't know if there's a preference for the types of things you like using in classes, I'm all ears. So you guys are more than welcome to email me at any time. And in fact, I'm going to put my email in the chat too. So any sort of questions you have, or even if you want to share a creative accomplishment with me, you are more than welcome to do that too. There we go. hgarrisonart@gmail.com. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to write that down. Yeah, and if you, so I know that Zoom, I don't know how to save the chat if you wanted to save the links on here. So what I recommend doing, if you don't want to lose these links on here, is to click on them now and then have your browser just sort of pop up, and it'll just be there on your tabs. So just click on each of them and it'll be there.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, it won't really let you copy and paste anything. So you kind of have to write down the email address or anything else you want to do. I don't know why.
I'm also handicapped computer-wise. I can't figure out what I'm supposed to. I wrote it down, I guess.
Okay, good.
Best way for me.
Yeah. Were you able to write down the name of the YouTube?
Well, I put
channel?
YouTube. Yeah, I could dig through YouTube. What was it?
Okay, good.
MS YouTube, Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, YouTube. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
It's
yeah,
the
as long as
copy
you
and
can find
paste.
it.
I don't know how to do it on an iPad, so.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I understand. As long as you've got,
I'll find you.
Good, because I think for YouTube you have to type out the word completely, Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't just type in MS Foundation. So very cool. Does anyone have any more questions? Huh? Tammy, is that you? Wait, I think somebody's trying to speak, but I couldn't. Or am I hearing things? Maybe I'm hearing things. Weird, I heard
I think
garbled.
someone is trying to talk, but it's not me.
Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy.
No.
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore. You're welcome to type in the chat. wish we could hear you. Sorry about that. Okay. There any closing thoughts from you guys? Dinner time for me, so
Yeah.
I get to go eat. Cool.
Enjoy your dinner, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. I want to tell you, I'm from Houston, Texas.
Oh, that's great. You're pretty close by.
Yes, I'm really close to you.
Thank you, Jackie. I see your message. Very cool to meet a fellow Texan.
Yes, for sure.
Love it. Yeah, I haven't been to Houston in a really long time. It's been a little too long. I'm due a visit, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I haven't been outside of Houston since COVID, so that's been a long time.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you guys.
You so much.
Bye.
Bye. You guys take care. Have a lovely evening.
Good night.
You too.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.